Alright guys, so we're going to do this video a little different because what I'm trying to do is encompass the whole interior build. I'll probably do individual videos if anybody really cares, but this will just kind of be a brief overview of all the work that we did to the Xmods build. So the first thing I'm going to point out is the DRT sun visors. Went down to DRT about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They were just getting ready to put them on their website. They're out now, and they're pretty slick. They don't move. They're really adjustable as far as tension goes. Very happy with the quality. Going down to the Thumperfab cell phone mount. Pretty cool. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You really got to wiggle the phone to really make sure that it is charging your phone. If you're using it just as a cell phone holder, does great. But if you want it to actually charge, you're going to have to wiggle it from time to time. It is what it is. All the foam padding is DKZ. He's one of our group sponsors, just like DRT. So if you look under the feature tab, you will get a discount code to save money. Going down, this is the control panel for the Dynamix electronic shock setup. It is tied into the ProR steering wheel with the Switch Pros control panel. Everything works. So my volume control, in fact, when I go to the Dynamax setup and I scroll down and I go to my different modes, and if I want to go to settings, if I know how to do that, go to the front, I can actually adjust my settings with my steering wheel. It's completely integrated into the brain, so everything is completely functional with the ProR steering wheel, the Dynamix software that they've used for the E-Click shocks. Really slick setup. If I only had one upgrade to do, it'd be the shocks. There's no doubt about it. There's no other feature in this whole build that I would do first. It would 100% be the shocks. Going down, part of the E-shocks is the brand new for this year. They did 2 switches for front and rear. So if I click it up this way, it adds 25% more firmness to the front end. And if I click this, it takes away 25%. So it makes it a little bit softer on the back. So if I'm jumping this thing, which I do, just haven't got it on video yet because I'm still trying to get everything dialed in, I'm going to put the front at firm and the back at soft to kind of keep that front end from nosedigging and going down and endoing, and yeah, I don't want to do that. So E-Click control panels, E-Click switches here, and then over here it's really hard to see. This is for my Sector 7 prism mirrors, completely programmable. They got strobe lights and all kinds of cool stuff. If you're all into that different kind of electronics, the prisms are definitely the cat's meow. I did Agency 6 grab handles. These are designed for a razor. Nobody makes them for the Expedition. That is billet. I've seen some steel ones out there. They look pretty ghetto to me. I'm not, I don't know. It's such a nice ride. It just seems like the steel ones that are out there just really don't seem to be, they don't complement the interior. So I made this work, grinded down the little humps, drilled into the frame, put some crushed nuts into the frame, and actually mounted them. Really happy the way that turned out. I did do a stage 6 UTV stereo system in here. I've already done a couple of videos on that, so I'm not going to beat that with a dead horse to a dead horse. In addition, I did the sub setup. Eventually, UTV stereo is gonna sell what's called like a stage 10, and it's going to be the 6 and the subwoofer, the whole package all together. That way you don't have to buy them separate if you don't want to. Going down, I did choose the rugged radio setup, the intercom, and the car-to-car. For car-to-car, I've got my push-to-talk down here, and I've got a short antenna on the roof. I don't have one of those long whips like most people do. So that's pretty slick. I can adjust my squelch. I could take a phone call if I want to, turn the volume up and down. Really slick deal. Right here is the control panel for my rigid 50-inch light bar. Again, another tech thing that's just completely programmable. Uh, I can adjust the beam pattern. I think it's got like 10 different beam patterns from like a flood all the way to a spotlight. Real cool technology. Um, I've got it set up on GPS right now, so the faster I go, the tighter the beam. The slower I go, the beam just kind of opens up, and it's really functional. Now, that's cool. It's a really cool feature, but with my 5 Baja LP6s, it does overpower the light bar. So it's kind of like one or the other. Um, but it is, instead of the Baja LP6s, which has one backlight, it has a rainbow, so you can really dial in the backlight if you're into that kind of stuff. Going down to the Viper control shifter, it keeps the dust out. It's got an internal boot in here. It feels a lot nicer than the factory shifter. Makes it cooler. I wouldn't say it makes it easier though. I've heard some people say it makes it easier. I don't buy it. Um, if you want to buy this, do this for one reason and one reason alone. Well, two reasons. One, it looks cool, so it will complement the dash. Um, and then to keep the dust out of this little area right here. Don't buy it because of the additional leverage. I don't, man, I've driven one with stock and this, and I personally don't think it gives you any additional leverage or makes it easier to shift. So I wouldn't buy it if that's your intention. I know some people will disagree with me, and that's cool. This is my personal opinion. I've owned them both. I've had them, obviously the factory and the Viper. I don't know. Uh, for me, it's all about the cool factor. I never did get a lot of dust in here, so I hear a lot of people complaining about dust, and I don't know why. Because even with the factory one, I never really got a lot of dust. Maybe just a little, but anyway. So where you can't see, I might put some still photos in here. Is I did the bass knob for the UTV stereo system, the subs. It's got 3 subs now, 2 in the back, 1 in the front. So I could just quickly adjust my subs depending on the song. Um, Sometimes I like the extra stuff. Again, what you can't see is 2 forward-facing flush mount plugs for the rugged radios. Pop those suckers in here. I don't have wires hanging anywhere when I'm not using it. And then above those, I have heated seats. So that's where my heated seats switch is. Real nice. I'm real happy the way everything's kind of tied in together. So on my last, about 2 weeks ago, I decided to give up on S-Pod and switch over to Switch Pros. I did this for a couple reasons. Number one, S-Pod only has a 6-button panel, where Switch Pros has an 8. Uh, for me as an end user, that was important because I have a lot of electronics. The second reason was overall real estate. I don't have the I got a lot of wires, so if I can shrink stuff down, that's better for me as an end user. It just cleans up the wiring. It makes everything less complicated. S-Pod had a much larger box. I would say 3 times the size as Switch Pros. So if you pop the hood and you start looking around, it's so much easier to look at the Switch Pros versus S-Pod just because there's a lot less going on. It's a lot less complicated. And these are completely programmable. You can do push to talk, you can fade in and out. So like if you want a really bright light and then you want to slowly dim it down, you have all those capabilities within this keypad here and or your app on your phone. Um, I'm still playing with that. I don't know how all that stuff works yet, but I'll figure it out. As far as the Pro R steering wheel goes, one of my members was able to figure out how to wire up the steering wheel to the communication plug underneath the dash. It's what the technicians use to plug into to scan the computer. And it was as simple as green and green, red and red, brown and brown, white and white. And once everything is plugged in, all my controls now work on my dash. It literally was that easy. I don't know why Polaris just didn't do this instead with the North Star, because it's so expensive. They should throw in the steering wheel, since it's literally wires up exactly as a Pro R. And if you want to do this upgrade, I bought this on eBay, and it was like 500 or 600 bucks. Brand new from the or like if you go to Polaris, it's $1,500. So you can save a lot of money. I did throw away a lot of the components, because the frame part doesn't match. So food for thought if you want to add a Pro R steering wheel, uh, and then of course add the Switch Pros to it. It just really fills in the whole deal. WD turn signal kit. I chose WD because I like the lever. It just feels better. I like the way the lights crawl up uh, um, the headlight right underneath, and then it ties into my side mirrors. Really neat. DKZ foam everywhere. Chose DKZ primarily because they have more pieces than anybody else. In fact, they have pieces on the side tunnel, and when this gets hot, you can feel the heat. Well, DKZ putting all these pieces on the tunnel definitely helps with the heat transfer between your leg and the plastic. It also gives it a nice soft feel. Going down to DRT grab handle, this was all custom, so I wouldn't. Uh, we had to remove the dash, build some pieces, mount it to the frame. Man, it took so much time. So if you really want any details or try to get it done, you can reach out to Friday Racing. I'll put a link up there. It was real cool. Wife loves it. Um, we've been switching back and forth from the DRT to the agency grab handle. Right now, she's digging the agency. We're playing with the DRT, just kind of getting a feel of which one's better, which one aesthetically is better looking, feels better, so on and so forth. And then I did go with MB Square on my seats, front and rear. I've done a couple write-ups on that already, so I definitely don't want to beat a dead horse. And I think that's pretty much it as far as the interior goes. The last thing I did was my Switch Pros and my Pro R steering wheel with all the button hookups with the UTV stereo sub enclosure, which sounds fantastic, very clean. So that wraps up the build for the X Mods build. I will be posting a complete build breakdown of everything I've done. I hope everybody has a great day. God bless, and go get them.